All right, first, before we get going, Thursday, we're going to have our second quiz in this unit. Let me just let you know what's going to be on the quiz. 3 equations, 3 variables. Something, I'm just making this up off the top of my head. 10x plus 2y plus 3z equals 10,000. And then x equals, 2y plus z. Something like that. Okay, so you got to solve all 3 for x, y, and z. It'll be a word problem. You guys will have to come up with all 3 equations on your own and solve. So that's problem number 1 on Thursday. Problem number 2 on Thursday will be graphing, shading, solid, dashed, etc. So 2x plus 3y greater than or equal to, 6. X is less than or equal to 5. And then, something like 2, y is in between 2 and 3. All right? Shade, and then let me know, you put that big S where all the shaded regions overlap. So that's question number 2. And then the third question will be what we're going to cover today. So those are your 3 questions on Thursday's quiz. Everyone's going to take it on formative, whether you're in school or not. All right?
Can I have a packet? I forgot mine.
Nope, right on top of the filing cabinet. Okay. All right, so that's what you guys are going to look at for Thursday. Wednesday in class, we will review. I have a review sheet for you. I'll put on Classroom or give it to you if you're in school. On Wednesday, that are 3 problems that are just like the ones that will be on the quiz.
So the quiz is just going to be 3 problems?
3 problems, correct.
All right.
And I'm showing you what the 3 are right now. Word problem, where you got to come up with 3 equations that solve. Second problem will be graph and shade. And the third problem will be what we're going to cover today.
Awesome.
Okay? Any of you guys have questions or comments about anything before we get going?
The movie was good.
Good. I'm glad you guys liked it. Probably another one after we finish this unit.
Sick.
That's the way I do it. Told you guys, a unit. The only reason why I did the movie where I did it was because it was right before break. So, but the next plan is once we're done with this unit, another movie. Yep. I take care of you guys. I don't make it too difficult.
Next one needs snacks.
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. This kid wants snacks now in class. With the movie wasn't good enough. I gotta provide snacks
just
now.
as a suggestion.
I'll bring in some recliners.
I'll bring
I
snacks.
can't bring
sure.
it. I'm not bringing in anything
I'll bring
nowadays.
snacks. You want some snacks?
I don't want anything from you.
Oh.
No.
Oh,
COVID,
do you not trust me?
COVID or non-COVID.
All right,
I don't want
see.
anything
All right.
from you.
I'll just enjoy my snacks.
Okay, you can.
You want some?
All right. All right, here we go, guys. I got 2 problems for you today, but they're kind of difficult. We're still, excuse me, we're still going to graph a dotted or a solid line. We're still going to shade. You still got to tell me where those shaded regions overlap. Here's the issue today. You got to come up with the inequalities yourself now. Okay, you have to come up with the inequalities to graph. So here we go, about the elevator. It can only hold 2,000 pounds. All right, after 2,000 pounds, it gets a little overloaded. All right, so it can only hold 2,000 pounds. I'm going to let you know a child on average about 50 pounds, an adult about 150 pounds. So I need your help. Write an inequality that describes how many adults and children you can have that will cause the elevator to be overloaded. I'm telling you, X is children. What do we know about the children? What did I tell you about the children? 50 pounds. So I'm going to start this off by saying 50 X. 50 times how many children I have in there. And I'm going to call Y the adults. What do I know about the adults? So I'm going to add in 150 times however many adults I have. Y. Now, here's the tough part. You guys got to help me out. What inequality symbol should I put in there that would cause it to be overloaded? Now, remember, overloaded means anything above 2,000 pounds. So what do you think about cause it to be overloaded? What symbol should I put there? I got greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Greater than 2,000. Their weight, all right, the children plus the adults' weight has to be greater than 2,000 for this elevator to get overloaded. Is everyone all right why I'm not putting the or equal to? Because I can have 2,000 pounds. That won't overload it. Anything more, though, we're toast. Everyone all right with the inequality that we came up with? You guys at home all right? All right, now we got to graph it. All right, I'll go through this slow because, like I said, it's been 2 weeks since we've done this. All right, how do I graph this? Well, first thing I'm going to introduce here, I don't need 4 quadrants anymore. Right? I don't need this. I don't need that anymore. Why? I'm not going to have a negative answer. I'm not going to have a negative number of adults or kids. So any word problem we do now, we're going to take our graph and just leave it in quadrant 1. So see how I set up my graph here? I'd appreciate it if you took your straight edge and did the same. There's no reason to have 4 quadrants anymore. I'm not going to have a negative answer. All right? No shot at a negative answer. All right, now that I have my graph set up, now where are my x and my y intercepts? So let's first start with how did I find the x-intercept a couple weeks ago? I want to put a point on the x-axis where this line's going to go through. And if you remember, oh, go ahead, Caroline. Go ahead. Sorry.
Plug in 0
for
y.
Yep. Plug in 0 for the other variable. In this case, y. So I got 50x, and when I plug 0 in, it just goes away. Done. And I'm just, instead of the greater than, I'm just going to put equals 2,000 because I want to solve for x. So 50x equals 2,000. You guys grab your calcs, divide both sides by 50. And it'll be x equals 40. Everyone getting an x-intercept of 40. Great, great. But then you go to the graph and there's no way I'm going to fit 40 on there going by ones. We're all in agreement? All right, so you guys got to figure out your own scale so that 40 does fit on the x-axis. Because I can't go by ones, absolutely not. I don't even think I could go by twos. I'm not going to get 40. Anybody got? Go ahead.
5.
5s, yeah, 5s will probably work. All right, so let's go by 5s on the x-axis now. And you do not, for me anyway, you do not need to label every single one. As long as you show me you're going by 5s, like see how I have 5, 10, I don't need to see any more except for 40 now. All right, as long as you establish that I'm going by 5s, I don't need to see the rest of them. 15, 20, 30, 35, 40 right here. All right, so there's 1 point on my line right there at 40. Now let's do the same thing for the y-intercept. Now I'll plug in 0 for x. And yeah, you're going to get a little decimal here. Well, that's okay. Don't freak out. Don't freak out, guys. We're fine. No need to freak out. After you divide both sides by 150, you guys are getting what, about 13.3 repeating? All right, that's fine. That's going to be on my y-axis now. And unlike my x-axis, I think I can handle going by ones here. I think I'll reach 13 and 14 going by ones. So I don't need to change the scale on the y-axis. So take your time right now. Just show you I'm going by ones. Just barely, huh? And I'm not looking for perfection. You can eyeball it. 13.3. Where it would be around on the y-axis. So I'll give you guys another couple seconds to finish that up, and then we got to talk, grab our straight edge and what type of line here. Got to pay attention to that. If you guys remember a couple weeks ago, what type of line should I graph?
Dotted.
Dotted, dash, however you call it. Yep, because it doesn't have the or equal to. No or equal to means I get a dashed line. So let's line up our straight edge. You can draw it right through the points. You can just connect the points as long as it's a dash. That's what I'm looking for. And then we have one final piece to this puzzle, which is what? The line looks beautiful, but
Shade.
where the heck the shade, above or below?
Above.
Well, let's find out. What point do I always use to test?
0, 0.
0, 0. As long as the line doesn't go through 0, 0, which it does not, I can test 0, 0. So here we go. Another reminder on how to test 0, 0. I go back to the inequality I made. So I'm going to go 50 times 0, plug in 0, plus 150 times 0. True or false, is that bigger than 2,000? And you guys see what? I get 0 on the left. Is 0 greater than 2,000? That is no go right there. No shot. So when you shade, you do not want 0, 0 to be a part of it. So above or below then? Above, yep. So I'm going to shade everything away from 0, 0 because I know that's not an answer. There it is. All right, guys. Part C. Any questions on the graph or the shading? All right, part C. Can you give me an ordered pair that satisfies this inequality? AKA, I need somebody to give me an ordered pair, an XY coordinate that's definitely in your shaded region right now. One that's clearly going to be in the shaded region. And remember, you went by 5s on the bottom. Anybody want to take a leap of faith here and give me an ordered pair that's in that shaded region?
45.
50.
What do you got?
45, 7.
45. I don't agree with 7 though.
Oh, wait.
I'm okay with 45 on the X.
What about like 14?
Actually, 45, 7 should work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Settle down. Settle down. 45. Yeah, you're good. Thanks. Okay, you got one up on me. Mark it down. What's that mean? That 45, 7 that Isaiah in class just pulled out there? What was the X? What was X again? Right? What was X again? That was the number of kids. So if I have 45 kids and 7 adults, what's going to happen?
Overload.
It's going to overload. Okay? Any point you pick in that shaded region is going to overload the elevator. So I know this seems extreme, but yes, 45 kids and 7 adults will overload the elevator. Or any combination in that shaded region will overload it. That's what the purpose was. Please ask anything here, guys. Anything you want to run by me, because the next one, it's going to be more than one inequality we're going to need to graph. There's going to be a few of them. Anything? Everyone have a good break? All right, what do you say? We do one more and we get out of here. This one's going to be a little bit more involved, so be ready. I'll let you guys read through it. There's a lot to do here, a lot of inequalities to set up. All right, so let's take this one at a time. There's two types of investments. That's where our X and our Y are going to come from on this one. So let's start off by just calling, make it easy, X will be the money we put into high risk. We could have called it low risk too, but I'll just start with, I almost did that. The money we put into the high risk investment, and we'll call Y our second variable, because we don't ever want three variables when we're doing inequalities, only two. And that'll be the money in low risk. All right, are you guys ready? First one, can anybody come up? And again, just take a leap. If you're wrong, who cares? I'll respect you for taking that leap. I cannot invest more than $15,000 into both investments. No more than $15,000 into both investments. So into high risk and low risk together, I cannot invest any more than $15,000. Anybody want?
X plus Y is less than or equal to 15,000.
There you go. X plus Y. The money from both investments cannot be more than, not more than. So that's why Caroline had less than or equal to, because I could invest 15,000, but no more than that.
Beast.
Can you guys, I honestly want to know, please give me your input here. Would you guys rather just write all the inequalities down, then graph and shade, or go graph and shade right now, do another equation, graph and shade? Where are we here?
Graph and shade after.
You want to get all the inequalities first and then do all the graphing and shade? Is that everyone all right with that? All right, there's the first inequality then. Thank you, Caroline. Next one, keep reading. You have to have at least 2,000 in the high risk. Done, that's it. High risk, at least 2,000. So we're not going to involve X and Y because we're just talking high risk here. High risk, at least 2,000. Anybody want to take a stab here? High risk only, at least 2,000.
X is greater than or equal to 2,000.
X, good, good. X, because it's high risk, at least. This is, a lot of people have trouble with that term, at least. Think about your having $2,000 in your pocket. I know that seems extreme, but if I said, hey, I know you have at least 2,000 in your pocket, that means you have 2,000 or more, greater than. So X is greater than or equal to 2,000. That's what at least is. At least 2,000. And then one more, take a breath here. Furthermore, it says, hey, the amount you invest at low risk should be at least 3 times the amount at high risk. All right, so let's take that piece by piece. The amount you invested at low risk, what did we call that? Y, low risk, should be at least, there it is again, at least. The amount I invest at low risk should be at least. So what symbol again? Should be greater than or equal to 3 times the amount at the high risk.
So would it be 6,000?
No, a lot of people say 6,000, but I may do 2,000. I may do at 3,000. I may do 4,000. Right? I don't know how much I'm doing at high risk.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just going to put 3 x. You see why I'm doing that, Ella?
Yeah.
If you did 2,000, I knew you were going to put in 2,000 into the high risk, then yes, I would say 6,000. But I don't know. It's got to be anything bigger than or equal to 2,000. All right, so there are my three equations. Now I got a graph. So let's take the x plus y less than or equal to 15,000. You guys can find your x. I think the x and the y intercepts are pretty easy here, but go ahead, plug in 0 for each and find your intercepts. I'll do it with you. So I'm going to take the first inequality, and I'm going to find my x and y intercepts, which should go pretty quick here. Because once you plug 0 in for a variable, it's gone, and you're just left with the other one. No dividing needed. Nothing to divide. You guys good? 15,000, 15,000 for your x and your y intercepts. They're both the same. All right, if you have not, I'll slow down now. I'm going to slow down. Go ahead and get your, remember, you don't need 4 quadrants. You only need the 1 quadrant here because I'm not going to invest a negative amount. All right, you guys are going to have to. We can't go by one. We can't go by ones, right? Or twos or fives. Anybody have a idea what you want to go by on the x and the y to get to 15,000? Yeah, perfect. Go by thousands. And let me show you a little graphing trick here, kiddos. Here's a little graphing trick because I don't want to have to write in 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. It's going to get all smushed together and it's going to look gross. So instead, watch. Just do 1, 2, 3, 4. Go all the way out to 15. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And so you don't have to add on all the zeros underneath in parentheses, do me a favor and just put, hey, this is in thousands. All right, so we know, hey, that doesn't represent a 1, that's 1,000. And the same thing on the y-axis. Ooh, just barely made it. And then that's where your point's going to be. Solid or dashed? Solid. Make sure with the solid one, but with the straight edge. Your line does not go through 0, 0. So you can test it. So go ahead, plop in 0, 0 for x and y. True or false, and then we'll talk about where you got to shade then. What are you guys finding? It works, right? It's true. 0 is less than 15,000. So above or below? We should be shading below because 0, 0 was an answer. Nice and neat. This is why I always recommend different colors because you're going to have 3 shaded regions here. All good so far? Anything you want to ask? If I'm going too fast, let me know. Second one. You guys remember what type of line is X by itself? Ooh, X by itself.
Vertical.
Vertical, yes. Y by itself is horizontal. In this case, X by itself is a vertical, solid line going through 2,000. So grab your straight edge, get a vertical line, solid one, because it's or equal to going through 2,000. There it is. And you can plug in 0 there. You can still test 0, 0. You're just going to say, is 0 greater than 2,000? I don't think that's true, right? 0 is not less than or greater than 2,000. So right or left then? Where are you guys shading for this one? To the right or to the left? To the right. Or you could think of it, hey, where are all your x's greater than 2,000? Everything to the right is greater than 2,000 on the x-axis. So here you go. And really, I'm not going to do anything above because there's where my possible answer could be. Please, everyone, catch up here because this last one's a pain in the butt. All right, everyone ready for this last one? All right, this one's a pain, right? Because I got y on one side, x on the other. Usually when we find our y and our x intercepts, they're all on the same side, x and y, but this one's not. And I don't know, I don't want to I think this is too easy to graph that we don't have to move 3x over and find the x and the y intercept that way. I'm going to ask you to dig deep from your 9th grade days. Anybody remember how to graph something like that? Y equals 3x? Look, guys, I know we could move the 3x over, subtract it, put 0 on that side. It's going to get too complicated. And I don't think you guys need to do that. I think you're good math students. I've seen you all year. I think we should be able to graph something like y equals 3x. Anybody remember from their algebra days how I can do this quickly without doing x and y intercepts? Okay. You got a y-intercept and a slope. Slope and y-intercept. The slope is 3 here. Remember those days?
Rise over run.
Yep, rise over run. So I can go up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. Remember those days? But from what point? There's nothing there, so we could say your y-intercept is 0. So everyone start at 0, 0, which is my y-intercept, and go up 3 over 1, the slope. I think most of you guys can handle that. I don't want to find the x and the y because you'll run into a problem. So up 3 over 1, you can do it again if you want. Up 3 over 1. Grab your straight edge, solid line, right? Yep, solid line. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm going to have a problem when we shade. My good old 0, 0 is not going to work. Why not?
Because you're in zero.
Yeah, my line goes through it, so I can't use 0, 0. Does everyone see that? This is okay. It's rare. It's rare, but it's happening. I can't use 0, 0 as a test point to shade because the line goes through. All right, pick another easy point for me then. 0, 0 is not in use here, but what could be in use that's also pretty darn easy?
1, 1.
1, 1. There it is. Plug in 1, 1. Ready? Is 1 greater than or equal to 3 times 1? Is 1 greater than or equal to 3? Yes or no there? Nope. That is false. So you want to make sure your shading goes away from 1, 1. Do not include 1, 1 in your shading. So would that be an above or below here?
Being above.
It would be an above one. And do you guys see where all 3 would intersect? Are we starting to see where all 3 would intersect? It's that little triangle up there, right here. Everyone see that? That's the only place all 3 regions overlap. Right here. And then you guys know what or maybe you forgot. Put a little S right there for me to tell me there's their shaded region. So if you take a point from that shade, I'm not going to ask you to, but if you took a point from that shaded region right now, so let's say 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 310. 310. So that would mean, based on what you want, you could put 3,000 in the high risk, and you could put 10,000 into the low risk. All right. One more thing, though. Anybody see what I'm missing? Because I'm a picky guy.
You have to
Label at least 2 of them. Yep, label at least 2 of your lines right now for me. Anything, because tomorrow you guys will be basically doing the same exact thing for me on the assignment. 2 questions again tomorrow? Yep. 2 questions. All right, guys. I'm good to go. You guys have a nice day. See you back tomorrow. Thursday's the quiz. Good seeing you guys. Have a good night.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.